Hello, YouTube. This is your guy, J-Man, coming at you with another Americorps video. Today's going to be a little different. I'm pretty much going to talk about being in Americorps and resiliency. This is meant to be more of like a low-key discussion podcast sort of video that I'm going for right now. So, to get to the point of discussion here, in Americorps, whether it was NCCC or FEMA Corps, there were multiple different situations where at some point or another, someone's going to bring you down. Someone is going to be the reason you have a bad day, whether it's someone you're helping like a victim and it's the worst day of their life up until that point, or a toxic teammate and they've said something or did something that was meant to pick at you or insult you, or even a team leader. Those are extremely terrible because they make every day harder. And honestly, I would rather, but if you're asking me, I would rather a toxic teammate versus a toxic team leader, because the team leader can mess up the whole year. But one or two or even three bad teammates don't matter as long as you have a TL that's honest and fair and you have friends that are in your corner. So I just wanted to stress the importance of like resiliency. And from my experience in both teams, I'd say that there were various points where I was brought to that like absolute lowest point, and I genuinely did not want to be there anymore. So it took a lot to be able to deal with that. I'll use two actual examples for this video. In my first service year from 2019 to 2020, when I was serving in the Pacific region, there was a day that we were working and we were helping plant flowers for this we were helping to plant flowers to like regrow this forest and trees. So we might not see them, but in like maybe 20, 30, 40 years, it'll be more than just like an open field. Anyway, when I was there, this woman that was helping us made a joke. She made a short joke towards me, or she like made another comment towards me, and I really did not appreciate that, because after she made that joke, it kind of opened the floodgate, and then my team started making jokes, and it's easy to be like, ha 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 ha, that's funny, play along with it at first, and this happens a lot when you live around with people, right? Like they get too, especially in Americorps, people get too close to you. They feel like normal boundaries that would exist among coworkers doesn't really exist in environments where you're like living together like that. You become more or less like a family. And that joke that was made by that one person carried over for like a good 2 months into my service here. And at first it was funny, and it always starts like this. And this doesn't just happen in Americorps, but it is extremely common in Americorps. It starts off being funny, but then eventually, sooner or later, like it catches on, it becomes normal, and you need to really evaluate if those comments affect you or if they don't, right? So in my situation, after that woman made that comment and it started catching on, I didn't really care at first, but then over time, it became normal. And then eventually, there came a point I had to set that boundary. You need to set that boundary. And I don't care if it makes you awkward, if it makes you feel weird. I don't care if you worry about the fallout, or you worry about, they're going to say, you can't take a joke or two. I don't care. The second you feel like something is affecting your mental health, or if something makes you feel less than you deserve to feel, because you deserve to feel fucking awesome, that's the second you should speak up on it. That's the second you should say, hey, I don't like this, stop doing that. And the more serious and swifter you deal with that, the better you'll be in the long run, because it becomes harder and harder if you set that standard from the start that, people can say this or that about you and just get away with it. There are times to engage, but there's also going to be times when you don't engage. You really have to feel out every situation, and you have to feel out if it's the right time to act in said situation. Using my second service year when I was in FEMA Corps, there on our team, which went through a lot of shifts and changes, there was a golden period when it was great. No one on the team had any problems. No one on the team ever did anything wrong. It was good and chill. But eventually we got a teammate that was just downright disrespectful, not just to me, but to everyone. And she was new to the team, and the problem is because she's new to the team and we're very welcoming, we wanted to give her benefit of the doubt, give it time for her to like really become part of our family. And it was our problem because no one said anything to her, and she just continued to be blatantly disrespectful for the rest of the service year. Granted, it was just 3 more months, but that's still a lot. That's 90 days. That's a long time still. Especially, it's almost like math is not great, but that's like almost a quarter of your service year, dude. So no one said anything to this girl, and because no one said anything, her being disrespectful to everybody became the standard. And in environments, whether it's work or it's, your friend circles, relationships, you gotta set that boundary. And you gotta have that level of mental resiliency that you don't let someone rattle you. I don't care what it's happening, or if it's a superior, or if you feel like this person's stronger than me, bigger than me, prettier than me, handsomer than me, richer than me. Like, I don't care. Every person matters. Every life matters. Everyone is entitled to deserve respect and be treated like a human being. So, in that situation, no one set a boundary. And I regret that because I was the only guy on the team, and there were like 2 girls, including the new person. It was a girl, so 3 girls altogether that were teammates, a female TL. So that's 4, and then I'm the only guy. So she wasn't really disrespectful to me. She kind of just let me do my own thing. She just disengaged from me, honestly. So it wasn't even really my problem, but I saw her just being blatantly disrespectful. And to this day, one of my biggest regrets was just letting that happen and not saying anything, just because I didn't want to deal with the target on my back. I didn't want to deal with extra BS. I just wanted to finish up my service year and never have to deal with her again. And I got my wish, and she ended up leaving, but I have to look back on my teammates and think, dang, like, their service year was messed up because I chose to just stand there and do nothing. So my message to you or anyone else going forward to do Americorps is to be resilient. Have fun, make friendships, but know your boundaries, know when they're crossed, and know when the right time to say something is. For my second experience, it wasn't so much out of fear. I didn't say anything. It was just like, was it really worth rocking the boat, And sometimes it's not. Sometimes you really got to know when to hold them and when to fold them. So for that situation, I do have regrets, but I also know why I made the choice. Like, I trust myself. If it was a situation where I deemed it was necessary, I would have said something. But at the same time, you always regret what you don't do. So knowing the best time to say something, and is it worth the consequences of saying it? But don't be afraid to take action. Always have that in your mindset. Always be resilient. Never let anyone put you down, and never let anyone ruin your day. Because you volunteered for this. You're not getting paid anything. You're not even in an organization where you're well known. Not a lot of people really know about Americorps. So you're doing service for like literally under the table for less than nothing. And I respect the hell out of anyone that's there doing that. The least you could do is get respect from the people around you. That's why this message in this video was really supposed to be for all those people who go into Americorps, with less social skills, or maybe they're a little shy, or maybe they haven't really had to deal with conflict in their life because they've always had everyone nice to them, or they come from a really good background, a really good home. So please take heed of this video before you go into Americorps. Please have that level of, maturity and resiliency to not let everything take to heart. Kind of, in my words, right? Try to look at people who are being negative or toxic through like a mirror. Like, you're just watching yourself in a movie and you're just acting on a screen, okay? For those of you that have anxiety, that might be a little bit harder. It's a little bit of an advanced skill, but it's still possible to learn. Take your time and just try to remember that you don't need to be everyone's friend, and you're here for a reason. And remember the reason and what you're there for. You're there for you. You're not there for Billy, Bob, Janet, Janine, whatever. You're here for you. And being there for you, you need to look out for yourself first. Yes, you do rely on your team. You do rely on your friends. But if you don't take care of yourself, who will? Thank you for listening to this podcast style video. And I will be taking more questions about Americorps. Anything else going on? Because currently I am serving as an Americorps mentor, even though I am no longer in the program, and I am basically giving out information and links to social media involving Americorps, in addition to helping people who are in the program now transition easier from civilian life to service life. Links in description. Any information you need at all, just drop it and I'll answer any question. I'm always active on my YouTube. Thank you. Hello, YouTube.